Hey guys, Puzzleman945 here. Welcome back to another video. This video is part 2 of my top 20 favorite movies, the updated version. Continuing where we left off in the last part. If you didn't see that, I covered movies 20 to 12. So now we're going to move 11 and onward. How far we're going to get, we're just going to stop when I feel like it. Um, so, at number 11 are the Kung Fu Panda films. Um, I feel like these are all equal in terms of quality, at least in terms of how much I enjoy watching them. Excuse me. I think they all have such enjoyable characters that are played by absolutely fantastic voice acting performances. The animation looks incredible in every single movie, and not just the 3D animation, but the 2D hand drawn stuff looks insanely good as well. Um, Along with the villains to each movie are really good. Um, like in the first movie, Tai Lung is a simple in the first and third movies, Tai Lung and Kai are simple but effective villains, but they work. And then obviously the golden villain of those is Lord Shen from Kung Fu Panda 2. He's easily the best one. Um, and Shifu and Uguay's characters are written really wisely. I love Shifu's arc in the first movie and kind of just the general mentor role that he plays throughout the rest of the films. Um, and obviously Uguay is Uguay. And there's the music. But the music in this trilogy is so fantastic. Um, Combination of Hans Zimmer and John Powell did an absolutely amazing job with the music to every single one of these movies. The action and choreography is also really fantastic, and like every single time these movies are just a blast to watch, all three of them. Um, At number 10, we have my favorite animated movie of all time. And believe me, these are just barely not even with the Kung Fu Panda movies. I think I like Into the Spider-Verse just slightly better. Um, um, yeah, it's Into the Spider-Verse. So to begin with, this movie has simply the best animation of basically any movie or video game that I think I've ever seen. The best animation out of anything, honestly. Like, just the fact that it barely even looks like CG and the amount of just like creative transitions and like the use of like comic book text, like it's insane what they were able to do with the animation to this movie. It is absolutely insane. Has easily the best animation of any movie I have ever seen. Uh, Music is also very good. Um, and like the like multiversal part of the plot is one thing I also have to praise. I feel like it's executed excellently in this movie. Um, every single one of the spider variants is also unique and fun to watch on screen. My favorite is definitely Spider Ham because his jokes are the funniest. But um, every single one is unique in their own ways, and they each have like their own unique conflicts and things that they go through in some form or the others throughout the movie. Like for example, Spider Noir figures out what a Rubik's cube is. Um, and while that's probably a kind of simple concept, it's something that works for a black and white character. So in general, like the writing and the knowledge and the understanding of the characters in this movie is very good. Um, Second thing to praise, uh, Kingpin is a absolutely fantastic villain. He has very simple motivations, but it just works. Like he misses his family and he wants to do this at any cost to get them back. It's a decent motivation, and it leads him to do very drastic things. Um, and in general, like the collider is just like once again, present animation, like the collider effects are just ridiculous. I don't even know how to begin to animate that would look like. Um, but the collider is a very, very interesting machine, and like all the effects surrounding it are very, very well done. Uh, and then there's Uncle Aaron slash the Prowler. That twist in the middle of the movie that he is actually the Prowler is really, really good, especially because the movie had already taken time to really build up the relationship between Miles and Uncle Aaron. So, like, they're attached already, and just like that twist comes at the perfect time. And then the fact that he ends up tragically dying from it is like Miles' example of like the tragic Spider-Man death that kind of motivates him to continue forward. And when he does, oh my God, he is a badass. The final act is so good with all the different Spider-Mans fighting together and Miles using all the lessons he learned along with his newfound very unique spider powers. Um, Overall, this is just such an excellently well executed movie, and it is an absolute joy to rewatch every single time. And number nine is The Matrix. This movie is a little mind bending, but like, if you can understand that, then the stuff that's mind bending is actually really, really, really freaking cool. I have never felt more pumped after watching the movie than after watching The Matrix. The action and the choreography and the CGI for the time especially are all absolutely incredible. Very, very well done. The cinematography is good. The music is awesome. The acting is really, really spot on. Especially by Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus, who easily steals the entire movie and is easily the best character in this whole movie. The quotability of the Matrix is also incredible. There's so many absolutely amazing lines in this movie. My personal favorite being, "What is real? Need to find real," by Morpheus. Um, and also Agent Smith is such a good fucking villain. I know I don't swear very much on this channel, but he is such a good villain. Like, man, he is intimidating and just awesome to watch. All the agents and their action and the way they can like lift into bodies, it's so badass. It's I love it. You can tell how pumped I get about this movie just by the way I'm describing it. I literally get so pumped whenever I think about and watch this movie. It's just like the effect that it has. The one thing I don't like is the Neo and Trinity romance, just because I don't think it's very well deserved and it's kind of thrown in. But to be honest, that's only like one very tiny negative amongst a list of like extremely massive positives. So, um, yeah, this movie is just so freaking awesome and I love it. It gets me so pumped up to watch and talk about every single time. At number eight is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. This is my third favorite Marvel movie, and um, this movie is kind of like The Dark Knight in the way that the best way I can just describe it is masterful. However, I do like this one a good bit better than Dark Knight, despite the fact that both are incredible movies. I do like this one significant amount more. Um, because we really get to like in within this movie we really get to like delve into Cap's psyche, so to speak, because he undergoes a massive character change in this movie that I think is so well written by the Russo brothers, who are my favorite directors of all time, by the way. Um, and they need to make more Marvel movies. I feel like, because any movie that they make is easily going to make $1 billion freaking dollars. Um, um, but yeah, we get to explore Cap's psyche in this movie, and like in doing so, like he finds out that the government that he was so loyal to is not as like honorable as before, and he finds his own way of serving the country without obeying a corrupt government, which is such a unique angle to take his character on. And it's extremely well written. Uh, Alexander Pierce, played by the famous Robert Redford, is one of my favorite MCU villains, and an absolutely extremely menacing presence in this film, but one that that you would never really suspect is the villain. And upon rewatch, like you can tell just like little details that they throw in there that you wouldn't be able to tell on the first viewing. And um that is definitely my biggest positive about this movie, is the fact that every single time I rewatch it, I find something that I like. I find another thing that I like. Like, this movie gets better every time I rewatch it. Every time. Um, whether it's like it can be even the littlest of things. This movie gets better in some way every time I watch it. Um, and then of course, a lot of the smaller characters, Black Widow and Nick Fury are all cool in this movie. The introduction to Falcon into the MCU in this movie was very, very well done. I really like Falcon in this movie. Anthony Mackie does a good job of playing him. Um, and the character of Bucky also makes for another fantastic villain in this film, because you have no idea who he is until it's revealed. And like watching his struggle in his fight between Cap is just like it's just great writing. Um, and And man, that final act is so like emotional, climactic. Like um, the first couple times I watched it, had me on the quote unquote edge of my seat, even though I didn't sit on that seat necessarily. Like, it really had me on the edge of my seat. Like, while I was watching it, was so intense. Um, and then there's the action. Like, man, the action is so good in this film. It's so entertaining to watch, and like the action scenes are just so well choreographed, and everything about that is just done so freaking well. It just makes it a blast to watch. And then, of course, when it comes to the pinnacle of action, there is the legendary elevator scene. One of the best scenes in the entire MCU, and probably in my top 10 favorite movie scenes of all time, and easily one of the best action scenes in any movie ever. Because, like, I don't even need to explain it. Just like look up a clip. Even if you've never seen this movie, just look up a clip of the elevator scene from this movie, and you will see why it is why I say it is. Just the action is like reaches its absolute of awesomeness and like epicness during this scene. Um, so yeah, overall, fantastic, like dramatic movie, like very spy espionage, like it's very excellently written with quite deep characters and villains and amazing action and music and stuff. And number seven is Star Wars Episode 5. Um, I don't really know how much I need to explain of this, but this is a classic. This is my favorite Star Wars movie. Um, it has the best. It has the best lightsaber duels. Obviously, Darth Vader is the one of the most iconic cinema villains of all time, and one of my personal favorites too. Um, all the characters in this movie are great. I freaking love Yoda, especially. I love Yoda more than the twist in the movie. Actually, like I liked his quotes more. Yoda is my favorite movie character of all time, based on this movie. Um, like there's just so much good parts to this movie. Like watching Han and Chewie and Leia and the gang while flying through asteroids is entertaining, and then at the same time it will cut to like Luke learning the secrets of the Force from Yoda, which is also like extremely fun and entertaining to watch. And and then like at the same time, like Darth Vader is just an absolutely amazing menace of a presence on screen, and like the way that he manages to like conduct himself is amazing, and it's so entertaining to watch. The lightsaber fights are also really, really good. The Imperial March is the best song of all time, and there's so many other legendary tracks in here. Um, because this is one of John Williams' best scored movies by far. Um, this just all around, this is an absolutely incredible classic that constantly continues to stand up against the it does continue to, and it probably will continue to stand up against all the depths of time for a very, very long time. At number six is Forrest Gump. Now, put simply, my favorite thing about this movie is the fact that this movie has probably the best cast of memorable characters um, out of any movie ever, basically. Um, just like the collection and writing quality of like all the characters together between Forrest Gump, Jenny, and Lieutenant Dan, and uh, what else is in this movie? And Forrest's mom, and like just every single character is like so beautifully written. And like the fact that it's just like him telling stories on a bench, it's such a simple idea, but like the acting of all these characters is so good. With Jenny, you understand how like she's basically ruined her life kind of thing, and like how she had a very messed up life before like figuring out like where she was in life, and the fact that she wanted to be with Forrest. Um and also like seeing their childhood development is also like very sweet in the beginning of the movie, and it is actually a movie romance I like. I do think it is well deserved. Uh, uh, the character of Forrest himself is like he's very he's not the smartest character, but at the same time he makes up for that in just kind of pure dumb innocence. And that is a trope that works so good for Tom Hanks acting in this movie. Um, like he just portrays a character, Forrest Gump, like so well. And mm, mm, oh, and of course, I was forgetting one character. The character of Bubba is also just really funny and is like such a good like friend to Forrest, and just the way they make the shrimp company based on him is like bubblegum shrimp. Like that's so so like heartfelt and interesting, and and then of course my favorite character in the movie, Lieutenant Dan. Um, Lieutenant Dan, like watching his struggle, like immediately when he's introduced, we have this like monologue of where like every single member of his family has died in some kind of horror, which is like a funny montage. But immediately what that does ingeniously is it builds up the fact that Lieutenant Dan has something to live up to. It basically gives him a goal that he wants to reach, that he feels like motivated by his like ancestors to attain, his predecessors to attain, which I think is very unique and it's very nicely done. Except, of course, you see his depression and how he has to cope with that throughout the entire rest of the movie when he loses his legs and he's not able to die. And like how he basically resents Forrest for not letting him die, but at the same time he can't because he's also thankful he saved his life. That like that conflict is so nicely balanced, and it's like one of the many examples of the absolutely fantastic writing in this movie. Um, and then near the end, when like he shows up to Forrest's wedding, and um, and like he has titanic leg, and he has like a fiance and stuff like that. Like, and the fact that he turned his life around, it's like just amazing to see. Um, so yeah, I love Lieutenant Dan's character. And then of course the best thing about the movie is just watching Forrest's adventures through the movie as he like literally does so much stuff in his life. Like he joins the military, um, and he also becomes a world famous ping pong champion. And he also co-founds a shrimp company, and he also runs in the entire way across the country and all the way back and all over the place. And at the end, with Jenny, he actually has a kid that at the very end of the movie he names Forrest and he cares for. And it's just like his complete life journey, and the entire movie has such amazing writing and acting. Um and those two qualities make it are like some of the best in any movie I've ever seen. Um which is why it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I love Forrest Gump. And with that, I am going to probably cut it off here for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you later. Bye bye.